welcome to the Saucy Football Breakdown podcast, where we are embarking on what I would like to call an exciting journey, and that is going to be to unlock the secrets of soccer here in the USA. I'm trying to make the game accessible and engaging for everyone. As we gear up for the 2026 World Cup right here in the good old US of A, there's never really been a better time to dive into the heart of the game that I love, this beautiful game called soccer. Whether you're new to soccer or you're just looking to deepen your personal understanding, you're in the right place. I'm Michael, and this special series that I'm doing here on Saucy Football Breakdown, I will be breaking down the game piece by piece, and I'm going to be starting with the fundamentals, the positions on the pitch. Each episode will focus on a different position group, giving you the inside scoop on what these players do, why they're important, and what to watch for during a game. So today, I'm going to kick things off with the backbone of any team's defense, the center backs. So let's get started and discover together what makes these players the unsung heroes of their teams. So what is a center back? Well, in plain, definitive terms, a center back is a defensive player positioned in the central part of the defense, just in front of the goalkeeper. Their primary role is to stop opposing attackers, often by intercepting passes, winning tackles, and blocking shots. Center backs are the backbone of a team's defense, organizing the back line and often initiating the team's offense from the back. Now, their key responsibilities are going to be outlined as follows. They defend against attacks. I believe that's their primary goal. They prevent forwards from scoring, and they use physicality and positioning to neutralize any and all threats that they can. Now, there is a term in soccer called marking. And what marking is, it's really closely monitoring and staying with the opposing attackers to deny them space and opportunities to score. It's just like in basketball, it'd just be like guarding your man. And then another responsibility that they have is playing the ball out from the back. So what does that mean? That means that they actually start the attacks going forward by distributing the ball accurately to midfielders and forwards on the team, and then they transition from defense to offense with these passes. So obviously, the better passer here, the better the type of player for that particular responsibility. Now, I also would like to go over what their skills and attributes are. Ideally, you would like them to have height and strength, because the ideal center backs are tall and they're just physically strong. And that enables them to win in aerial duels and tackle really effectively. They should also possess what I would like to call tactical awareness. And that's really just a deep understanding of the game, and they need to try to anticipate the opponent's moves and organize the defense. In other sports, we would call this either a basketball or football IQ. They just need to understand what's going on and what the opponent is trying to do. Good center backs are often some of the best leaders on the team. They're often the vocal leaders, and they direct their teammates, and they really maintain discipline and structure within the team as best they can. They also should have the ability to handle the ball under pressure and distribute it accurately to start these offensive plays that we just talked about. They need to have just a little bit of composure, not panic, and figure out how to get the ball out. Now, there are some iconic players that when you think of the position and you think of legends. These are names that you should Google. These are the players that have defined what it means to be a modern center back, in my opinion. Franco Baresi, he was renowned for his reading of the game and his leadership at a team he played in Italy called AC Milan, and he spent his entire career there. Now, another player you should look up is Paolo Maldini. Though he primarily spent most of his career as a left back, Maldini's versatility and intelligence allowed him to excel in the center back role as well. Remember, we talked about having that high game IQ or that tactical awareness. Paolo Maldini embodied that skill. And another iconic center back to play the game is a man by the name of Carlos Puyol, or Carles Puyol, I believe. Either way, he is the embodiment of leadership and tenacity. Puyol was crucial for both FC Barcelona and the Spanish national team. Now, I know I mentioned earlier that center backs needed to be really tall. And I mean, I guess you could say Puyol was tall by regular people's standards, but I think he was only 5'11". I actually did not look that up, but I know he wasn't the tallest, but he was still able to get things done. Now, some of my favorite center backs right now in the game, and again, these are players that I believe if you want to get an understanding of what a modern day center back does, these are players that you should Google. The number one name that pops up into my head is Virgil van Dijk. I mean, I think that man embodies everything. He is the ideal center back, in my opinion. I don't believe he has a weakness. I mean, there are things that he does better than he does other things, but the things he doesn't do very well doesn't make them weaknesses. It just means that he does other things better. It's kind of hard to explain, but the things that he doesn't do as well are not weaknesses. They're just things that he doesn't do as good as the other things. He's such a baller. You got to look that man up. He's tall, he's smart, he's a leader. He's everything. He's everything you want him to be. His positioning is outstanding. His tackling is good. I mean, he's human. He's not perfect, so he gets beat from time to time. But when players see him line up, and he's physically imposing, I mean, he is a unit. He's such a good player. Another modern-day center back that I like is John Stones. And John Stones plays for Manchester City. And what I like about John Stones is I believe he's just as good going forward as he is going backwards. And what I mean by that, if you are a complete novice, is that he has, as a defender, his job is primarily defense, but he has the ability to play going forward and carry the ball forward like a midfield player because his ball skills are just so technically superior. And I know in the beginning when I talked about attributes that you want your center backs to have, we talked about them to have the technical skills and technical ability, the ability to handle the ball under pressure. And John Stones, in my opinion, just simply embodies that. He is probably one of the best ball playing center backs that you'll find that is just good on the ball and can move around and do multiple things. Plus, he can also defend at the highest level. Lastly, another player that I think you should Google and look up and watch some highlights of his is Sergio Ramos. Now, Sergio Ramos is he's definitely on the backside of his career now. But when that man was in his prime and he was playing with Real Madrid over in Spain, man, another one like Virgil, he just embodied everything that you want out of a center back: the leadership, the physicality, the ball skills, the height. the tenacity. Uh, he's just an incredible player. I can't say enough about those three center backs. Those are going to be my favorite three center backs that play the game right now. So if you stuck around this long, hey, thank you. Thank you so much for sticking around. This is going to wrap up the journey into the world of center backs, the what I like to call the linchpins of defense and unsung heroes on the field. They're a blend of physical prowess, tactical genius, and unyielding spirit. It really sets the stage for these thrilling matches and these unforgettable victories. So next time, we're going to shift our focus to the guys who stand next to the center backs on the left and the right. And we're going to explore the dynamic role of a position called fullbacks. But until then, keep enjoying the beautiful game. Remember to Google those players I told you about, the icons, Barisi, Maldini, Puyol, Virgil van Dijk, John Stones, Sergio Ramos. Google those guys to get an understanding of what the really good center backs do. Because you need to remember, behind every great team is a rock-solid defense. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.